Mitchelle Blair killed and severely tortured 2 of her children, storing their bodies in her freezer for more than 2 years while she and the surviving children remained in the same home. Mitchelle Blair, 35, was evicted from her home in 2015 due to non-payment of rent when she and her 4 children were residing on Detroit's East Side. Nothing about Blair's situation looked particularly out of the ordinary at first glance. She had been having financial difficulties due to her unemployment. She had previously approached them for money, according to relatives. Blair was not home on the morning of March 24, 2015, when the 36th District Court eviction team arrived. Thus, the team entered the house and started hauling items out. However, when attempting to relocate her freezer, they made a horrible find that shocked the people of Detroit. Before starting the video, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date with the latest uploads. A white deep freezer in Mitchelle Blair's living room was discovered by a bailiff, which led the Wayne County Sheriff's Department to make a disturbing discovery. Within, they discovered a teenage girl's frozen corpse, encased in a big plastic bag. The body of a small kid, covered in a blanket, lay shockingly underneath her. Without any delay, a neighbor revealed Mitchelle Blair's whereabouts. Soon after, police discovered her and her 2 children, ages 8 and 17, at the home of another neighbor. However, Stephen Gage Berry and Stoney and Blair, her other children, were not present. Mitchelle Blair admitted to killing the kids and putting them in her freezer after being questioned for a short while.
Why did you take the decision to pile the bodies on top of each other in a freezer?
What do you mean?
Why did you do that?
Well, I only had 1 deep freezer.
She allegedly claimed the cops she wasn't evil while she was being handcuffed. It was just an evil act, she declared. The bodies were taken to a morgue by the authorities, where they had to thaw for 3 days in order to undergo an autopsy. Stephen Berry and Stoney Blair were recognized as the deceased. The cause of death was determined to be blunt force trauma by the medical examiner, who declared their deaths to be murders. Additionally, the medical examiner determined that Stephen's death was partly caused by thermal injuries. It was found that Stoney, then 13, died in May 2013 and Stephen, then 9, died in August of 2012. They had spent more than 2 years in the freezer. In front of the Wayne County Circuit Court, Mitchelle Blair admitted to the murders. She claimed, in an unconvincing statement to Judge Dana Hathaway, that she murdered the demons when she discovered they were assaulting her youngest son sexually. Blair said that one day in August 2012, she entered a room in her Detroit home and saw her youngest son using toys to simulate having sex. Blair questioned him if he had ever been touched in that way, asking in horror. According to what the youngster said, his brother Stephen, who is 9 years old, had. Furious, Blair barged into Stephen's room. Blair started hitting and kicking Stephen right away when it was reported that he had admitted to sexually assaulting his younger brother. Over the course of around 2 weeks, she claimed to have tortured her son further by starving him, forcing him to drink Windex, suffocating him with a plastic bag, and repeatedly scorching his genitalia with hot water until the skin peeled off. She asked, "Do you like how this feels?" after putting a belt around his neck and raising him up. According to a petition to revoke Blair's parental rights to her surviving children, Blair hoisted Stephen off the ground by hanging onto the ends of the belt, while the belt was still around Stephen's neck. After choking Stephen until he passed out, Blair slapped him awake by covering his mouth and nose with force-flexed bags. Stephen passed away on August 30, 2012, from the injuries he suffered. Mitchelle Blair saw him unconscious next to a vomit pool, so she covered his corpse with a blanket and concealed him in her deep freezer. Mitchelle Blair stated that 9 months after killing Stephen, she discovered that her 13-year-old daughter Stoney was also abducting her younger son. According to reports, Blair continually questioned the youngster about whether Stoney had assaulted him. The boy kept saying no, but Blair threatened to beat him if he didn't reveal the truth. Stoney was cruelly tortured and starved by Blair till her death in May 2013. Blair was accused in the petition of hitting Stoney a lot in the face, beating her with a 2x4, and suffocating her with a waste bag until she passed out. Blair later claimed that although the death of Stephen was an accident, she had intended to murder Stoney. "I have no regrets about the demons' deaths," she subsequently declared. "I would murder them again, even though at first I sobbed. There was nothing else to do. Mitchell Stoney's body was placed in a plastic bag by Blair, who then placed her on top of Stephen in the freezer. She carried on as if nothing had happened after that. For over 3 years, Stephen Gage Berry and Stoney and Blair were kept in a deep freezer. Nobody searched for them. Blair had earlier pulled all of the kids out of school, and the dads had been mostly gone from the kids' lives. Mitchelle Blair always had an explanation when neighbors inquired about the whereabouts of the kids. Mitchelle Blair admitted to the judge in court that she had no regrets about what she had done. She declared, "They had no regrets for what they did to my son. Rape has no justification." Mitchell's oldest kid, Gabby, said there was no concrete evidence that either of the children had sexually attacked her younger brother. Prosecutor Karen Goldfope said they had not discovered any evidence of rape. Gabby Blair claimed in January 2023, "My mom basically started questioning the youngest because she got obsessed with this crazy notion that my siblings had sexually assaulted our youngest brother." Due to constant interrogation, Gabby claimed that her younger brother didn't know any better, and only then disclosed the alleged sexual assault to Mitchell. Gabby remarked, "My mom was a ticking time bomb. Her fuse was always lighted. Thus, even the smallest tap would trigger her." Mitchelle Blair entered a guilty plea to 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder and 1 count of felony murder in June 2015. She is presently incarcerated for life without the chance of release in the Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Gabby Blair and her younger brother moved home with their great-aunt and resumed their education when their mother was convicted. The younger sibling was later adopted. Both siblings went to treatment to deal with the trauma and violence from their mother. Gabby remembered being afraid of passing the freezer where her siblings' remains were buried. She explained, "Even passing the fridge made me uneasy. They were frozen, just like flesh." Mitchelle Blair continued to mistreat Gabby and her brother following the murders of Stephen and Stoney. Gabby was routinely beaten with a wooden board and burned with a curling iron, constantly fearful she'd be the next to wind up in the freezer. "I was careful what I said around my mother. I knew that if I made one mistake, I'd end myself here. It makes me happy to have survived." Enjoying our content? Please like and share video with your friends, and don't forget to share your thoughts in comment section. Don't miss out on future videos. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date with the latest uploads. Thanks for watching.